Welcome to 5 Minutes Alone with God. Today we're in Psalm chapter 22. Remember, the Psalms are a section that you're reading it and it should be filled with emotion. So when you're reading it, let the emotion flow out, which I'm going to attempt to do as I'm reading this. In verse 12, many bulls encompass me, strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their mouths at me, like a raving and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax, it melted within my breast. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death, for dogs encompass me. A company of evildoers encircle me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. I count all my bones, and they stare and gloat over me. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. But you, O Lord, do not be far off. O you, my help, come quickly to my aid. Deliver my soul from the sword, and my precious life from the power of the dog. Save me from the mouth of the lion. You have rescued me from the horns of the wild oxen. Reading through something like this, what comes to your mind? What is this passage talking about? Obviously, the person who's writing this, who is David, he's in great distress. He feels abandoned. He feels useless. I like the phrases that he says his heart is like wax. There's a lot of poetry in here, metaphor, that speak about a person's physical and emotional state. He says, my tongue sticks to my jaw. Have you ever had that feeling like your tongue is so dry that it just sticks to your mouth or to the roof of your mouth and you can't get any water? Well, that's what he's trying to express here. There's no help, there's nothing, he's in despair. But he calls out to God for help, and he asks God for help. One of the neat things you probably have recognized is that this is a messianic passage of Scripture in which you notice that he said, they have pierced my hands and my feet, and they have divided my garments among them. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. He's speaking prophetically of what happened to Jesus Christ. They pierced his hands and his feet, and they divided his garments. They gambled over who would get them. This happened over 900 years before Christ was even born. And yet David is recording something that is going to take place. So how would you apply something like this to your life? When in your dire straits of life, when you feel depressed, call on God for strength. Remember the times in which he helped you and look forward to him to help you again. God delivers those who trust in him. Even if there are times where you feel that there is no help, rely on God. That's our time with the Lord today. See you tomorrow. And by the way, if you hear dogs barking in the background, those are my dogs, and you may see them walk behind me now and again. Until tomorrow, have a good night. Psalm 22, verse 22 through 31.